So I have to replace the liner in my MIG welder gun. I have a Millermatic 250 with a 15-foot tweco gun. So one of the things you want to do first is I usually will feed the wire out a little bit, cut the end off because usually there's a little ball on it, and then you'll a lot of the welders will have like a little screw clamp inside the welder. You unscrew that, pull this out, and I usually snip the wire off, or you can just pull it all the way out, but it's easier just to snip it off. And I'm assuming these are all the same. It's a 7/16 wrench. This just loosens up, it unscrews, and then you can see the back, like the back end of the liner. So then you'll unscrew your nozzle and all the end of the gun there. And I've already threw the new liner in this, but usually you'll have about this much of the liner sticking out of the gooseneck here. Some of these you can actually unscrew them and they'll come right off. This one's an older gun, and it's all clamped onto the cable inside here, so I left it in. But if yours has like, a lot of them have like a little screw end here, and you can change the angle of the gooseneck. You can just unscrew that all the way. This will pop off, and then the liner will shoot straight out. It makes it easier to get it into the gun. So then you just grab the liner and push it in. You can see it pop out there. So then you just obviously grab it and then yank it out, and then when you push the new one in, when you get to the end, again, if you can't get your gooseneck off, or you leave it on, or if you leave the tip on and everything, it's probably going to get stuck when it gets about this far in. So I would definitely advise taking that stuff off the gun end. When you're pushing the liner into the gun, be real careful. I've seen a couple guys, they're pushing the liner and it gets stuck, and they just push it and it kinks it and bends it, and you ruin the liner. So just go nice and slow. It's only going to take you a minute or two anyways. Then take the end here, screw it back in, and that should seat that thing all the way down to where it's supposed to be. And like with this gun, it's a little older one and it's a little bit different length. I've never had to install a liner and not cut it. Every single liner I've installed, I've had to cut. So I don't know if they just give you a little extra length just in case, or what the deal is, or if every gun I've ever had was always just a little short. I'm not sure. Since this is a different diffuser than I had on there, and it might also end up in a different place because I screwed up the threads in here trying to jam the old that other diffuser in here. What I did was just to figure out how far in this goes, because my liner is going to be a slightly different length than my old one. I put the liner as far into the diffuser as I could. Then I marked the line with my Sharpie, and I backed it out till I could see the end of the liner through the holes in the diffuser, and then I put another mark there. So then I measured that in, and you can figure out exactly where that is. And then I set this so it would be about screwed in, and I put my Sharpie mark right, and on this particular diffuser I put my Sharpie mark right in line with those holes, because I figured that's about where I want it, and that's in between those two Sharpie marks up there. So I'm just going to cut it off there, and normally I would just use a pin. So got a pretty good burr on it from cutting it, so I'm just gonna kind of grind it flat and then deburr the outside, and then I don't have a good deburring tool, so I'm just gonna use a little bit oversized drill bit and just knock off the burrs on the inside edge. If you're gonna use an angle grinder, just be careful. Don't put a lot of pressure on that. You don't want to kink this here. Just nice and light and easy. I used the side of this cutoff wheel, so it's not real. It's super smooth. I didn't use a regular grinding wheel. I'd say that might grab too hard on this. So just grab a drill bit. It's a little bit oversized, like I said. You don't want to drill into it, and I'm just knocking any little tiny small burrs. I couldn't find a screw-on nozzle for this type gooseneck. So like I said, I just rammed the wrong one in here. So this is not an NPT fitting. You'll see the threads at the base are the same size as the threads at the tip. So it's just a standard fitting, but I am going to put some thread tape on there because the thread pitch on this is completely wrong for that, and it won't screw all the way into the gooseneck. So just to save some gas from escaping and going somewhere where it doesn't belong, I'm just going to throw some tape on there. Okay, just a little bit, just to help out. I get about 1.5 turns out of it before it stops turning. So, and again, like I said, I wouldn't recommend doing this, but I'm gonna buy a new gun anyways, just so it's easier for me to find parts. It was kind of a hassle to get this all set up here. Now I have the screw-on nozzle that I wanted, and when I go to, if you go to lay a tack down and you rest the nozzle on what you're welding, it's not the wire isn't going to go all over the place. It's going to stay straight, which is why I wanted this the screw-on style nozzle. So one of the things I like to look for is these little seals here, the little O-rings. Make sure they're not cut or starting to wear out like this one. I don't know if you can see in the video or not. You'll see there's a couple little flat spots kind of starting to come in these. If I'm probably going to replace these ones when I get back up to the welder. You want to make sure for sure if you do get new O-rings, they're not sticking way out past these little recesses, because when you go to push this back in, it'll just cut the O-ring off on that. So these sit pretty flush. They stick out just barely past the edge there. So replacing a liner is super easy. I would never have anybody do it for me and pay them to do it unless they're going to do it for free. But even then, I could do it my way and how I want it. So I like to have the liner as close to the tip as I can without it hitting and binding. So that's one benefit to doing it yourself, and most of the time it saves you money too.